Tops on, singing to that highway song. Got a little naive smile, the kind that drives you out. Nothing like playing with fire, brings boy to life. Beat you with a fuse you light, girl, you're dynamite.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
14:20 in the morning, 14 minutes and 20 seconds worth of sports talk to get you through your daily commute. Hot takes, recaps, best bets, and a little humor to get your day going in the right direction. Sit back, grab your coffee, and let's get into it. All right, 14:20 in the morning for this 15th day of September 2023. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com. The SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase of you may as well get yourself some baseball playoff tickets coming right around the corner. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com and check out all the great articles and other podcasts such as Crap Boot Sports, the Corner Booth Podcast, the Sports Stove, and Rising to the Occasion podcast, all there at bellyupsports.com. Thank you for making us a part of your day each and every day here at 14:20 in the morning and 14:20 Sports Bar Podcast and everything else we got going on here at World Headquarters. Anyways, just over 2 weeks left, 2 weeks Sunday, I guess, the Major League Baseball season will come to a grinding halt and get ready for the playoffs. But 2 weeks left. There's only one team that's clinched a playoff spot so far, and that is the Atlanta Braves. Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, and the rest of the Atlanta Braves clinched their sixth straight National League title a couple of nights ago. They got one hell of a ball club there. They're 17 games ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies, like a really, really good Phillies team that is still 17 games behind. You remember they got off to a pretty poor start. Trey Turner called himself one of the worst players in professional baseball. Like back, I think it was a couple months back, they got the 14-20 kick in the rear, and they've been pretty good ever since. But that Braves team is something else. Six straight is nothing to sneeze at. The one World Series title that they had to their name in 2021, kind of reminiscent of those Braves teams back in the mid 90s, early 2000s that won 14, I think, in a row, with only the one World Series in 1995 against the Cleveland Indians, actually, I think it was. And then they lost in 97 and 99 to the New York Yankees. But you look at this Braves team, how they're put together, how Alex Anthopoulos was let go by the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll get to them in half a second. What a disaster that's turned out to be. But you look at a guy like Alex Anthopoulos, who went to the Braves and got himself a championship team. They've got six championships in a row, which is nothing to sneeze at with the way free agency goes, everything else, and how that happens throughout sports and professional baseball. But they got a lot of those guys locked up till like 2030, so they can do a lot of damage for the years to come. And it's not just an Acuna thing. It's not just an Olsen thing. They got some guys that are grinding out there. That Charlie Morton's a hell of a pitcher. I thought he was done about 3 years ago, but he keeps coming back from the baseball grave, I guess you could say, and has put himself to a hell of a career together. And he just keeps going. And he's that kind of guy that you want in the back end of your rotation to go out and give you some quality starts night in, night out. And you need those guys, and you need those guys that you can count on, and they don't get hurt, and they're serviceable. You know exactly what you're going to get from a guy like Charlie Morton every night, and it's something to look at. But you look at this Braves team right now, what they have going on with the sixth in a row. It's a great feat. It's a great accomplishment, but really in the big picture, it doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. Banners and pennants and all that stuff, they're cute and everything, but when it comes down to winning, nobody ever talks about. Well, people talk about the Braves of the like I said, the 90s and the 2000s. They're winning all those titles, but they're kind of a laughing stock. Yeah, you talk not a lot. Well, the laughing stock might be a bit harsh, but you look at those Braves teams. You remember the greatness of Greg Maddux and John Schmaltz and Tom Glavine and the like. You remember how great those teams were, but they're remembered for being losers, I guess you could say, in lack of a better term, because they only got that one World Series. And like I said, having all those pennants and flags and everything else to say you won this many National League titles is cute and all, but nobody remembers those things. They remember for all the wrong reasons. Just ask the Los Angeles Dodgers, who won 9 of the last 10 National League West titles. You want to watch this a National League thing that the guys just roll over. They win it year in, year out. It must be a weaker league, maybe. The American League is far superior, in my opinion, to the National League. I'm kidding around, but you look at the Dodgers, who have the one World Championship in their stretch of 9 of 10, and how many playoff series or playoff appearances in a row. They got the COVID World Series in 2020. So how much does that even count? The Dodgers have a chance to do something this year, but I think the Braves are head and shoulders the best team in baseball. Like you look at that Phillies team is really good, and how they're just 17 games up on them right now. 96 wins. It's the most in baseball. The Baltimore Orioles and now the Tampa Bay Rays have come out of nowhere. I think they won 8 out of the last 10. They're hunting down the Baltimore Orioles right now, and they're only a game. I think they're a game out just because of percentage wise right now of the American League East title. But this Braves team is really good, and they have a shot to do something. Right now, you could think that they could probably have guys sit out a little bit. They can manage their bullpen, what they're going to do, manage their starters a little bit, bring some guys up, let some guys pitch that they that normally wouldn't. Go like to get some extra rest days and everything else. The only thing you might look at is you want to see Acuna Jr. get to the 40-70 mark. He's currently at 37 and 66 home runs and stolen bases. And so you got to think it's just a foregone conclusion. He's going to get to those marks for 3 home runs and 4 stolen bases. He could have that by Sunday afternoon kind of deal. So are they going to sit him, and are they going to give him some rest days and make sure he's healthy going into the playoffs, because they're only going to go as far as he'll take them. And then you look at another guy that like we talks about how great Acuna Jr. is, and it's a kind of a foregone conclusion that he's going to get the National League MVP. But the other guy that would probably be getting a lot more consideration if it wasn't for his teammate is Matt Olson. Unbelievable power numbers he's putting together this year with 51 home runs, 128 RBIs, a 279 batting average. You wonder, like, he's not even getting any love, not even just of course his teammates going to get it, but not any love outside of Mookie Betts to get a National League MVP. Any other year he'd be the guy getting that thing. His numbers are better than Betts are right now, and Betts is a better player. But you look at what he's putting together, and if he can get to a 55 home run, 140 RBI kind of a season, and like I said, that can be done by Monday or Tuesday if he gets a little bit of a hot streak. That's an MVP like season. He's not getting any love, getting talked about very, very little throughout the baseball world. It's kind of astonishing that he wouldn't be getting a little bit more love with those kind of numbers he's putting together. You just wonder how the Braves are going to do it, how they're going to manage their team the rest of the way through. They've clinched they've clinched the playoff spot. If the playoffs were to start today, I love these ones. The playoffs will start today. They play the winner of the Chicago Cubs and the Philadelphia Phillies series. Now, a Phillies Braves series in the NLCS or NLDS story would be fantastic to watch. It'd be great drama, 2 great teams, and you don't know who would come on top on that when the Phillies are playing really, really good baseball as of late. Harper's there, Turner's turned it around, and they have a serviceable pitching staff that could do a lot of damage in the playoffs. You just wonder if they could upset the Braves, because the Braves are kind of at that point now where they got to start winning some world championships, because like I said, all those banners and pennants are cute in the outfield and all the flags and everything, but if you don't get the World Series championships, those flags, and those are the ones that matter. Nobody remembers you for the right reasons if you keep losing world championships or you don't even get to the World Championship, you don't get to the World Series and give yourself a shot. But the Braves are in a situation now where they can sit some guys out. They can have a season now where they can look at winning at World Series. Remember last year they snuck into the back door into the playoffs when the Mets collapsed in the last week, and now because they had to fight tooth and nail to get to the playoffs last year, so they didn't get a chance to rest guys. Now they have the opportunity to do something like that and maybe get themselves that elusive World Championship, be their 4th, I think, in franchise history if they can win one this year. But anyways, the crapping all over yourself. I wasn't going to get into this one today, but I think it's got to, as a Canadian baseball fan. And a lot of people, I was out with some buddies last night. We were talking about the Jays and how they've just fallen apart. And nothing goes to show Toronto Blue Jays baseball like the crapping all over themselves and barfing all over themselves, like the performance they put on at home this week against the Texas Rangers, a team that they're battling with for a wild card spot in the American League. They're currently, the Jays are a game and a half out. They got smoked this week badly by the Rangers, got outscored 35-9 in a 4-game sweep at home. That's not acceptable at any time in the season, but especially when you're in a playoff hunt right now and a wild card berth is on the line, and you got a chance at home to maybe distance yourselves with some other teams, because the Mariners, who we were pumping up last week on 14:20 in the morning, the Mariners were the best team in baseball at one point. They've they're 4-6 in their last 10. So the Jays had an opportunity this week to distance themselves and get themselves into a nice spot. But even playing 500 baseball over the last while, the teams that they're losing to on a consistent basis are the teams that are ahead of them. So maybe the Jays just aren't that good. You look at the teams that they've been beating lately. They beat the Colorado Rockies. They beat the Kansas City Royals, and who else they have? The Oakland A's in the last week and a half, 2 weeks have been. And that's the only teams that they seem to be able to beat. They're going into Boston this week, and I don't know how that's going to be with the Boston Red Sox. So they're not really playing for anything either right now. They're not eliminated yet from wild card contention, but they're the fat lady. She isn't singing there, but she's humming up a tune right now. But you wonder how that's going to all play out in the American League East, longtime rivals and everything else. And the Red Sox fired Shane Bloom yesterday, their general manager. Kind of an unexpected thing. You think you wait till the end of the season, but maybe you get a new guy in, see what they got for the last 2 weeks of the year, and then go from there. But the Jays, there's something wrong in that clubhouse. There's something not right. You look at the Manoah situation, how he just quit on the team, said, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. I don't think you'll ever see him in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform ever again. He's not pitching. He's not doing anything. We talked about it yesterday. But there's something that's inherently wrong with that organization right now. There's something that's not right with the clubhouse. John Schneider, I don't think, is the guy to be leading that team. He's too buddy with these kids. We were talking last night with some other people about who'd be a good guy to be the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm a Boone guy. I like Aaron Boone, but they need a guy like Aaron Boone a little bit, who's a old school baseball guy, but mixes in the younger analytics of things and how to manage people, manage players. Because Boone's a third generation baseball player. Family's been around it forever, and I don't know what Schneider's background is, but he doesn't seem to have any kind of grit to him whatsoever. And it's kind of guy that you need. I'm not saying you go out and get yourself a Joe Girardi type or a Joe Torre type back of the Yankees dynasty and everything else like that, because Torre was a great manager of people and talent and not just of the game. And I think that there's a new school, old school kind of a level that Jays have to get, because right now there's something wrong with that clubhouse. When your fan base is clamoring for your first or second best player to be traded or told to go home or whatever it might be, in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like when the fan base wants to chop off his dreadlocks and hang him a little bit because he's been playing so badly, and he doesn't seem to care a whole bunch. He's always joking and laughing, but when it comes to winning and losing, he doesn't seem to have that it factor and that care factor. It's not a good thing. It's not a good look for the Jays right now. The way they're playing baseball, it's an ugly scenario they got going on. They have to win 3 games in Boston this week, and then they got a few with the Yankees too. I think they're 6 of their last 10 games are against the New York Yankees or something along those lines. And so they have a chance to make up some ground right now, because those two teams really aren't very good. And as a Yankee fan, I can say that the Yankees just aren't very good right now. They won 3 of 4 against Boston and Fenway this week, but it doesn't much matter at this point in the season. They're another team. The fat lady isn't singing, but she's humming a tune right now. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out the next week and a half, 2 weeks with the baseball season, how teams are going to manage their playoff races, how they're going to set themselves up for a playoff race, because they want to win a bunch of games this week and early on into next week, so you can sit guys out next weekend, get your bullpen set, get your starting rotation set, because you get into the playoffs, it could be 2 and done and see you later, and it's all for naught, because really when it comes down to it, if you only get 2 more games at the end of the regular season, does it much matter, because you only got 2 more games than the Oakland A's did. Really, so like having a long playoff run and doing something at the end of the season is so important. Yeah, getting the playoffs is hard. Winning is hard. We talk about it all the time here. But just having 2 more games like the Jays had last year against Seattle, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, making the playoffs is fun. It's nice, and you can say, yeah, we had an extended season, but what's 2 more games? It means absolutely nothing in the big picture, and that's why the Atlanta Braves have to look at themselves in the mirror a little bit and go, okay, we have these 6 National League titles in a row, but we need to do some damage in the playoffs. We need to figure out how we're going to get past that hump, to get another world championship, because those are the pennants that actually matter. Those are the flags that matter, the World Series titles, the World Series trophies that you put up, because that's what you remember by on a positive note, right? And so it's one of those things that you have to find yourself a way to win. And winning your division is important. It's 100% important. And getting off to a good start. We talk about it every year. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and we always talk about getting off to that big start. The games in April matter just as much as the games in September. And getting off that big start, like the Tampa Bay Rays did this year, they're in a situation where they're in a situation now where they had a bit of a rough stretch, but they're only one game out. So you wonder if they would have started off 6-6 instead of 13-0, or whatever it was, where they would be. They'd be well, it's just math. They'd be 7 games out right now. So it matters a whole bunch how you can set your season up, how you can, because getting on a hot streak in the middle of the season is kind of tough. We talked about it a little bit yesterday about the Cleveland Indians went on a 22-game win streak back in 2017, but what did it get them? 2 more games, really. So that's what it comes down to. Playoff baseball is the best. It's coming right around the corner. Got lots going on here. We got some other exciting news coming from 1420 World Headquarters. We'll get into that a little bit next week. We didn't do a show last night. Me and Dave were out with some friends, having some good time. But anyways, make sure you listen to other shows that we got good going on. We talk about that a little bit later on. But anyways, here's a little word from our friends at SeatGeek.
The foul baller. If there's a ball that's gone foul, he's gone to get it. Under his watchful gaze, all bevs, binoculars, and ballpark brats are safe. He's the only thing that stands between his section and certain destruction. That's why he only trusts SeatGeek with his tickets. The ticketing app trusted by fans. SeatGeek, so fans can fan.
There you go. Thank you very much to SeatGeek. Go SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Let's get to on this day and birthdays and get you guys out of here for the day. On this day in 1996, the Texas Rangers retired their first number in franchise history. Fittingly, the number is Nolan Ryan's number 34. Ryan only pitched for the 5 seasons for the Rangers, going 51-39 in 129 starts, including 15 complete games. Complete games are not even a thing anymore. 15 of them for an aging Nolan Ryan. I think how remarkable that is. But anyways, he struck out 939 times, or 939 hitters for the Rangers in that span. Also threw 2 no-hitter as a Ranger, one in 1990 versus Oakland in Oakland, and then one in Arlington versus the Toronto Blue Jays in 1991, striking out 16 Blue Jays, including Roberto Alomar for the last out of that baseball game. Nolan Ryan retired at the end of the 93 season after 27 years in the big leagues and was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1999. Nolan Ryan, longevity and everything else, and the strikeout king and no-hitter king, 7 in his career. Nolan Ryan, one of the best ever. Didn't get himself a Cy Young. It's kind of strange, but Nolan Ryan, on this day in 1996, got his number retired by the Texas Rangers. And happy birthday to Pete Carroll, born on this day in 1951 in San Francisco, California. Carroll is currently the head coach and executive vice president of Seattle Seahawks, who he won a Super Bowl with in 2013, defeating the Denver Broncos 43-8 to become only the 3rd coach to win a Super Bowl and an NCAA title in their career, joining Barry Switzer and Jimmy Johnson. A little trivia there for you. Of course, as we all know, Carroll is well known as the former head coach of the USC Trojans from 2001 to 2009, where he composed a record of 92-19, winning 4 Rose Bowls and 2 national championships with my USC Trojans, with the great Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush leading those great Trojan teams. We won't get into all the noise around Reggie Bush and how Pete Carroll left the Trojans USC, and it's his birthday, so we won't besmirch and talk bad about Pete Carroll today. But happy birthday to Pete Carroll, born on this day in 1951. Full head of hair the whole bit. Pete Carroll, I'm a little bit jealous of that guy when it comes down to his full head of hair and youthful exuberance the whole bit. I guess clean, healthy living's a good thing. Anyways, that's 14:20 in the morning for this Friday. Thank you very much for listening. And those of you who watch on YouTube, we appreciate everything you're going very much. So if you just want to hit that subscribe button right down there, that'd be greatly appreciated as well. So no, it's been a good week here at 1420 World Headquarters. Lots going on. Baseball this week and lots of other stuff. But yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for supporting the YouTube channel and everything else we got going on. But remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a good weekend, folks. We'll talk to you again on Monday. You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with the sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network.